Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you all had a great weekend. I did. It was nice and warm where I live. Hopefully you guys had the same great weather that I did and got to enjoy the outdoors a little bit. Bitcoin did pretty good over the weekend. It's up right now. In the new day, it was up nicely on Sunday as well. IREN and others are going up right now in the pre-market as well. We'll take a look at those. We'll then take a look at the miners. How did they perform last week against Bitcoin? They did a lot better than Bitcoin did. We'll get into all that, and then we'll get into Q&A here. So let's get into it. As always, non-financial advice. For only do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with the chart of Bitcoin right now and see what's happening here. So will Bitcoin end the month in green? Well, unless Bitcoin goes down to like 104,000, I think we will end the month in the green here. There's going to be a small gain on the month. It will be maybe about 3 to 4%, depending where we end up today. But we will be up. So Bitcoin was up a little bit on Saturday. We were up 0.22%. On Saturday, we were up almost 1% today. So we closed at 108,386, which was pretty nice. And right now we are at 108,644, up a little bit, about a 0.25% right now as it is. So things are looking pretty good here, right? Bitcoin's staying above the 50 SMA, which is nice to see. And the miners are actually going up in the pre-market here for the most part, the ones that I actually have pulled up here. So we'll take a look at what's going on with them as well. Obviously, the miners were not trading over the weekend, but we do have the pre-market data on them as well. But first, let's get into Bitcoin here on the monthly. If we change out to the monthly view here, we can see that Bitcoin will have a new all-time high close on the monthly here. And depending where we end up by tomorrow at 7 o'clock, my time at least, we'll see where Bitcoin ends up at that point. But like I said, we would need to go down to approximately 104,000 and 527 roughly, more or less. If we went down there, we'd be at the same monthly close as the last month, which would have been for May. So as long as we stay above that, we'll have a new monthly high here. On Bitcoin, which would be good here, and Bitcoin right now is up approximately 3.55% for the month of June here. I'm hoping that July and August will be better. I've talked about this many times before here, right? In the bull runs, we have usually pretty good months there in Bitcoin. In 2021, 2017, and also 2013 here. So let's see if the history is going to repeat itself again and we get a good July and August for the summer. And then we'll get probably a pullback on September if it plays out that way. All right, so we'll see there. Bitcoin ETF inflows, we got the latest data from BlackRock for Friday purchases. Well, they bought another 153 million here. But combined over the last week, the ETFs purchased over $2 billion in Bitcoin there. Who's selling? Where's that coins coming from? I don't know. I'm guessing it's still coming in from OTCs, but I would have to imagine that eventually those things are going to dry up, and we're going to probably see continuation of price going up here, kind of like what we're seeing here a little bit right now. But we definitely need a lot more of that price appreciation to happen here. So this is looking pretty good here. I like seeing all the buying here for the last 2 weeks. Everything's, it's positive inflows here in the Bitcoin ETFs, which is nice. All right, let's look at the miners here really quick. Pre-market here, we got Bitfarms being up just a little bit, 0.25% here. Cypher is up nicely today, up pre-market at least. It's up 6.5%, so this one I think is leading the pack right now. Cleanspark's up 2.81%. CORZ is up just a little bit, 0.3%. Hive is up 4.44%, doing pretty good there. IREN was up a little bit more, was around 4.5%. Now it's down to 3.57%. Mara is up just a little bit, 1.8%, and Riot is up 2.65%. We'll see where we end up tomorrow by the end of the day with all these guys here. So we'll see. Next, let's take a look at the miners here. How did they do against Bitcoin here in the last 52 weeks? And at last week, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and 12-week time frames as well. And on this one, we can see here that over the last 52 weeks, we're looking at how far the miners have come up from their lows and how far away they are from their highs here. So we can see that strategy here is up 274% from its 52-week bottom. IREN is up 173%. Core 168%. Both of these guys had really good weeks last week. We'll see that down below. Cypher is up 129%. Bitcoin's up 118%. So all these guys are outperforming. Strategy is still outperforming the miners here so far. We'll see if that continues. BitTier is up 105%. Hut 8 is up 102%. Riot 70%. Cleanspark 65%. Marathon 53%. Hive up 42%. Bitfarms is up 10%. And you can see that Bitfarms is 76% away from its 52-week high. So it's way down from where it was just in the last 52 weeks. Hive is away 67%. Then you got BitTier being away 58%. And then you got Marathon 50%, Cleanspark 47%, and Cypher 46%. IREN and Core are only about 12% and 10% apiece, while Strategy is about 30%. Okay. Looking at the last week's performance here on the miners, they did really, really good here. At least a couple of them did. Well, a lot of them did better than Bitcoin here. So we can see here that Core was up 40% based on the news that they are possibly in talks to be bought out by CoreWeave. We'll see if we get any news this week on this one. It would be nice to get some definitive answers as far as what's going on there. Right now, it's been hushed not only from CoreWeave, but also from Core Scientific. And as always, companies don't usually talk about rumors, so that's why they don't talk about anything. So I'm hoping something does materialize here in the next week. I think that would be great. It would be nice for the stock. IREN, no major news there other than them possibly getting to 50 exahash tomorrow. We'll see if they report on their, if they reach, excuse me, if they reach 50 exahash or not. Tomorrow's the last day to do that. There was a goal there. We'll see how close they get to it and if they report on that. But other than that, they're just getting re-rated here on the potential of the megawatts that they have at Clearwater 1 and 2 sites. They're obviously still working on Horizon site and Childress. So they have a lot of stuff going there. And I think the stock is just getting re-rated right now, which is nice because it was definitely down from where it really should be. Cleanspark was up 19%. Cypher was up 12%. Riot was up 10%. Hive up 6%, along with Hut 8%. Marathon was up 5%. Strategy was up 4%. Bitcoin was up only 4%. Then we have BitTier being down 2% on the week and Bitfarms being down 4%. Those were the two that have underperformed Bitcoin. Everybody else has at least stayed up with Bitcoin or did a little bit better. And then I would say the four there, Core, IREN, Cleanspark, and Cypher, along with maybe even Riot, have outperformed it quite nicely by at least 2x on it. So that was good to see. When we look at the 4-week performance now, things changed a little bit more here for us. We got Bitcoin being up 3%. You got BitTier down 21%. Bitfarms down 17%, Hive down 10%, along with Hut 8 and Marathon being down 5%. You got Strategy being up even with Bitcoin at 3% here. Riot up 7%, Cypher up 9%, along with Cleanspark. IREN up 44% here in the last 4 weeks. Core up 37% here. So those guys are doing really, really well. On the 8 weeks time frame, well, Bitcoin's up 4%, and then now you got 1, 2, 3, 4 miners underperforming by some really bad here. Bitfarms being down 31%, BitTier down 21%, Strategy is down 8%. So even Strategy is not holding up with Bitcoin which is surprising because they keep buying more Bitcoin. So that's a little strange for me. Marathon was down 5%, Hive was down 2%, and then again, Core up 79%, IREN up 99% in the last 8 weeks. Cleanspark up 16%, Cypher up 43%, Riot up 24%, and Hut 8 up 27%. So a lot of these guys are still outperforming Bitcoin by a margin of 4 to 5, even 6, 8x, it seems like. And even higher than that, too, in the last 8 weeks. Looking at the 12 weeks chart, well, things look a little bit better for the miners. Bitcoin's up 28%, and we got only 3 miners that have underperformed that. We got Hive being up 22%, Marathon being up 20%, Bitfarms being down 7% there. And then you got Strategy at least being even with Bitcoin, up 28%. BitTier is up 39%. You got Hut up 45%, Riot up 49%, Cleanspark up 42%, and Cypher's up 76%. And then you got Core up 136%, IREN 149% here. So this one, IREN is doing really, really well. I'm sure you guys are loving it, just like I am. And I wish I would have bought more when I had the chance. Well, I would have liked to have been buying the last probably 2.5, 3 months, but I had to pay some taxes and things like that. So that took a lot of money out of my pockets at that point. It is what it is. We'll deal with it and move forward on it. But yeah, I mean that's awesome performance here in the last 12 weeks for these guys, right? Being up at least 3, 4x on some of these guys compared to Bitcoin, and then some being at least 2x or close to 2x at least. And that's kind of what I would expect out of the miners here, or at least what I expected all along here. But it might be that we might get this kind of performance here happening in the next 6 months instead of happening since last year. Nonetheless, I do love what I'm seeing here. Hopefully we get the continuation of this into July and into August as well. Historically, we should. So I'm hoping that we do see this, but time will tell. Nobody has a crystal ball. We can only look to see what we see each day and go backwards, see what's been going on. All right, so that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. Strategy is also looking to buy more. Looks like I saw a tweet from them, from Sailor. They're going to be buying some more Bitcoin tomorrow. One other thing that I saw was also kind of interesting there was Mike Alfred. He was in Texas, which is also where IREN has some of their offices in there as well. I'm wondering if we might see some kind of an announcement later on this week from them. Might be a deal, might not be, I don't know. But with Mike being down in Texas, that, it's got my little spidey senses going here. Maybe there's something going on there where they need some signatures. Maybe. I don't know. We shall see. Time will tell on that one. But that's it. Let's get into Q&A. Spreadsheets available to my Patreon members. You guys will get this later on, probably tomorrow morning, I'm guessing. I'll send this out to you guys. And all I've got an update here was obviously the weekly here on this. And then tomorrow's the last day. So then we'll start getting the updates from the miners starting on, I don't know about Tuesday, but we'll probably start getting stuff on Wednesday because first of the month we were normally getting stuff from Bitfarms, but Bitfarms no longer is reporting. So I think we might get it from like Cleanspark and IREN. Maybe we'll get they'll be like the first ones to report. Maybe they'll surprise us and actually put out something on the first day of the month. There. All right, let's get into Q&A, see if you guys have anything to say. If not, we're going to call it short and be done with the weekend here. And go back to the grind tomorrow, back to work. So let's see what we have here. All right. Let's see. Bitchin82 says, with BTC up, I expect all, I'm guessing you're saying miners there, to run tonight, which would be nice. Okay, Trader504 says, today was a big play by big investors. It was big push and pull plug. I'm betting on big BS. Okay. Okay. Nathan's got a question here. What price are we aiming for this week for Cleanspark? Oh, geez, I have no idea. I mean, this week? I mean, we could be up another, 5%, 7%, 8%, whatever it might be. I'd be happy just to get, slow and gradual growth. I'll take that. Every week, if we get like 8% gains, that would be nice. For the rest of the year, that'd be fantastic there. All right, David's got a question here. Riot owns 19.9% of Bitfarms. Actually, it's down to like 13.4%. There was an agreement that Riot must maintain 15% until Bitfarms 2026 annual meeting. Riot is now at 13.4. Stake isn't Riot in breach of the agreement. Possibly. I'm not a lawyer there, so I don't know. But if it said that they were supposed to be at 15, I remember something about that. I'll have to look back at the agreement. Let's see if we can find that agreement here really quick. I'm sure it should be pretty easy to pull up here. This was from, what was it, like last September, October, I think it was. Let's see, Bitfarms, investors, let's see here. Bear with me while I go through their using events, press releases, going back to 2024, filter it. Let's see, December, Bitfarms provides, November, Bitfarms announces results special meeting of shareholders, Bitfarms reports third quarter, Bitfarms reschedules third quarter, Bitfarms October 2024, Bitfarms entered into second hosting agreement, Bitfarms dominates Andrew, let's see, Rachel Silverstein. Okay, we're getting close, we're in October. Schedules third quarter, Bitfarms files amendment and restricted perspective, production. All right, here we go. Bitfarms and Riot announced settlement here. So let's see. Let's see if we can find anything on the ratifies. Jason, this copy of the agreement will be filed. Oh, it's on the website of Cedar Plus. Okay, I'm not going to go through it. I don't see the details here unless they actually provided them down below, which I doubt it. No, they didn't. Okay. So we have to go back and search through all the documents. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe we'll go over that agreement again and see if they're maybe in breach. But I would think that the lawyers that they have there would not let them do it, right, to be in breach of contract there. Because then Bitfarms could sue them and it would be a mess. But, yeah, I don't know. We shall find out, possibly. All right. Let's see. Sarmelon's got a question here. How much higher do you think IREN run could go? I think it has a little bit more room to go. The reason I say a little bit more, unless we get a deal or something like that, here the stock just seems to be getting a little overextended here. If we look at it on the screen. So here's IREN right now, right? You got the RSI on the daily way up there, right around 80.79 right now, right? That's overbought territory. So could we possibly see a little pullback? I think a pullback might happen here, but we could go up a little bit more here before everything is said and done, before that happens. Because I've seen this where the RSI goes basically flat or down, actually, and the price actually continues to go up. So I'm not stating that we're going to go down, but I'm saying that we are getting close to that mark where it could possibly happen here. We could still go up to, I mean, we're at $14.50 right now, roughly. I think, in the pre-market hours. So, I mean, we could still run up to probably, let's look at, I mean, the next challenge might be around the 1590 to anything above $15. I think it might be a challenge. I think that might be a little top there on it for a little bit before we see, you know, because you got people that got, well, I wouldn't say rug pulled, but you had people that held on to it, right? And didn't sell towards the top here, and things came back down. So as the price goes back up to these levels here, where some people have been buying, they might be selling out at that point. Maybe, you know, depending how well they've been following the stock here, but that might be something that happens there. And let's see here, this is going back to July. We saw the same thing here around 15, right? So $15, $16 kind of like the resistance there. If we can break above that, then we could possibly go even higher than that. And I think, you know, somewhere around 20 before we take another pause could be likely. But we'll see on that one. See, Para has a question, maybe comment here. Bitfarms 74 cents and still over 70 million shares to be dumped. Crazy. There's going to be a lot of sell pressure. Like I've said before, over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, we're looking at a lot of sell pressure there on that one. So if it's going to, you know, like Para says here, to 50 cents or less, I'm probably going to be buying a little bit more there at that point because it's just going to be crazy undervalued. D. Shep Dabos has a question here. I know IREN has been getting all the love with hopes of AI HPC deal, but why you think Riot hasn't got any hype with Corsicana already up and running? Corsicana is up and running, but it is running ASIC miners and immersion cooling. Right? So different kind of setup that you would need for HPCI. You would have to retrofit it. I think they have, what do they have, 400 megawatts running there? If I'm not mistaken, it's either 400 or 600 megawatts. I can't remember. That's running for mining. And the rest would be potentially for them to do HPCI build out there. Now they could convert it all potentially into HPCI if somebody wants that much power from hyperscaler or somebody else. But yeah, I think it's because one, IREN is already doing some HPCI business, right? They already have GPUs plugged in and generating revenue on it. So they at least have some experience with it. They're also building out Horizon 1 data center there as well. I think that's 50 megawatts. So they're building out for something there. So I think that's maybe why. You got a little bit more, they're a little bit ahead of the game, I guess you could say, than what Riot is doing right now. And then you got Clearwater site for IREN, which is combined, well, the two sites are combined about 2 gigawatts. So there's a huge potential there as well. So I think that's maybe why that one's running. Okay, Michael says, watch CLOV. Last October did bottom around 27.3 to move to $4.87 to close Friday at 276. Has lots of upgrades with 160 million of cash and no debt. All right, we'll have to take a look at that one. Or at least I'll have to take a look at that one. All right, let's see, Par. MSTU and IREN, my two biggest. Just need Daddy Cleanspark to catch up. I think it will actually run a little bit here as Bitcoin price goes up. Par says holding strong. I'm holding strong both Cleanspark, IREN. Still have a little bit of Bitfarms there and very, very little of Mara. Megan Khan says, hi Seb, Bitfarms is way oversold. What is your target for Bitfarms at $1 or 150,000 Bitcoin? Geez, it's going to be low. Right now, as long as we have Riot selling the shares there, and they still have a lot of shares to sell, that's going to put pressure on the stock to underperform, basically. It's basically putting a foot on its neck right now. So I don't expect it to do too well. Even if Bitcoin goes to 150,000, we might be, I mean, geez, if Bitcoin goes to 150,000, I would think at the very, very least, it would be like above $1 to $1.50 at that point. But as the stock goes up, you might see more sell pressure from Riot at that point. So we really need Riot out of there to stop the hemorrhaging, basically, of the stock. At that point, it should be up much higher, right? Just based on their operations right now, with what they're mining in Bitcoin and everything else, Bitcoin going up, they should be priced much higher. All right, let's see. Angie says, as of now, Cleanspark is up 3% after hours, 10.99 a share. Nice. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing these guys starting to run up here, which is nice. Love seeing it. It's finally happening, and maybe they'll do very, very well here going forward, which is kind of why we're in them, right? All right, let's see. RSI for Bitfarms is still at 30 on weekly, and daily has much more room to be oversold. Yeah, it's still could go down lower. Yeah. And then PAR says historically bottomed around 20 RSI on the weekly. Okay. Let's see. All right. Sorry, Melon Gaming. After everything Jason Les has done, I'm shocked people still buy Riot and or hold it. Well, they're pivoting. Yeah, they are pivoting more or less. Not completely from Bitcoin mining, but they are pivoting from what their original stance was. The original stance was they're going to be a pure play Bitcoin miner, and then they got these activist investors in the company, and they're pushing their weight around, right, to have them go more into HPCI. We'll see if that works out for them. All right. Bar says RIOX, RIOX up 170% since market bottom in April. Nice. What is the multiple on that? Is that for Riot? Multiple one? All right. Alexander, when do you think IREN will domicile in the United States? Well, the reporting is going to be starting as of their Q1, which is going to be our Q3 here. So the current quarter that we're ending tomorrow is their end of fiscal year for them. And then after that, they're going to start reporting as being U.S. domiciled at that point. So that's going to be happening in our Q3, their Q1, which is going to be in the end of September, right? Barra says Bitfarms no longer reporting. They're no longer reporting the monthly updates. That is correct. Barra says, what the F is wrong with them now? Yeah, I know. I wish they would still report, but I get why they don't report it. They don't have much growth here happening with Bitcoin mining for the next possibly year or two. It seems like they don't have any plans for it. So they would be just reporting on potentially, mining less and less Bitcoin as network hash rate goes up. But the only thing that's going to save them there, and a lot of the miners here, is Bitcoin price going up here. So you're still making more, but you're mining less, right? So I can understand why they're not doing it, because there's not much growth, not much happening. They're not buying sites. They're not doing all this other stuff. And they're concentrating on HPCI with their Pennsylvania sites right now as it is. So I kind of understand it, but it'd still be nice. They could still do updates and go, here's what we mined, here's what we hodl, and here's what we're doing with HPCI, right? Here's where we are in the roadmap right now. Here's the things that we have done. Here's the things that we are doing. I think it would be good for investors. I would actually, I've said this before many, many times as well, I would love to see all of these public companies start providing monthly updates. I mean, it's not that hard anymore to do, a report out of your ERP system or whatever you got, to just pump out numbers. Here's what we sold. Here's what we got. All of that, instead of having to wait a full 3 months in a company. But maybe in time, maybe in my lifetime, we'll see that change where they are forced to report on their operations monthly here. Alexander Hawk says, ready to close up shop. Okay. EDB, hi Seb. Any news about the block mining machines acquired by CORZ? Nothing there. The last thing I heard was from their Q1 report that they are anticipating on getting those installed in the second half of this year, possibly Q3. That's the only thing I heard. But if they get bought out by CoreWeave, right? Is CoreWeave gonna continue to do that? Probably not. I mean, they might keep some of the sites, but then again, what kind of deal is it? Are they buying the sites that they have for their HPC business, which might be the case, right? They're just going to buy that stuff out, and then they're going to let Core Scientific have the rest of the sites that are used for Bitcoin mining. So we don't know. I mean, there's many ways that the deal could be struck on it. So right, everybody's thinking right now that CoreWeave is going to buy them out completely, but they could just buy out their sites. That's another option there. All right. David Albert's got a question here. At the rate Riot is selling, it will be December before they are sold out of Bitfarms. Do you think a reverse split will happen? If it's December, I mean, it'll be close at that point, depending where the stock is. Obviously, if Bitcoin goes up to 200,000 or something like that, I don't see the stock being down below $1 at that point. And they have initially 180 days to meet the NASDAQ requirements for listing, which the stock has to be above $1, at least one point in that time frame, or you have 180 days to get in compliance with that. After that, you can ask for an extension. The extension, I believe, is another 90 or 120 days. I can't remember exactly, or it might be even another 180 days. I can't remember. But I know you get another extension on top of that. And then after that, if you don't meet the requirements, then you can get possibly delisted. And at that point, I think they would then be forced to do a reverse split, if nothing else. EDB, I'm thinking about selling my core stock in the upcoming weeks. Should I continue in the Bitcoin mining industry, or would you suggest something else? In the next couple of weeks, I think, now, historically, this is when the miners would run the best, right? Right in the bull run here. If Bitcoin goes in a nice parabolic rise here, going from where we are right now, 108,000, going up to over 150,000 plus, right? So if you can get close to 200,000, the miners will run at that point very, very well. At least they should. So I would look at it that way, unless Bitcoin just goes up to 130,000 here, corrects down to 108, whatever it is, goes back up to 150,000, but it takes it, 9 months to get there. We'll see how the miners react at that point. Let's see here. EDB, thanks for all your hard work. You're very welcome, and thank you so much for coming in here. But yeah, that's basically it. So we'll see if we get any updates later on this week from the miners. I'm sure we'll get updates for June, obviously, but the things that I'm looking for the most is one, IREN, right? If they get to 50 exahash tomorrow, really want to see that. That would be awesome if they do report it. And then do they have anything in the background that's happening for HPCI, right? For maybe Horizon 1 site, or even with Clearwater sites. Anything kind of update on that would be great. Maybe we'll get that in the June production update. And then some more information on CoreWeave and CORZ Scientific about their possibility of a buyout there. And I think the details would be nice to have, at least acknowledging that there's something that's going on or something like that. I don't know if we'll get it, but it would be nice if they come out with something like that. But that's it. We'll see where Bitcoin goes tomorrow, right? I'm expecting it to end up in the green here for the month. And then miners, we'll see how they do tomorrow. I mean, they're doing pretty good right now in pre-market. We'll see if that continues into tomorrow morning and then into the end of the day, and anything else that happens after that. All right. So that's it. I wish you guys a great week. Hopefully it's going to be a nice green one again for us, and stack the sats. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Love you all. Bye.